Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela. I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady and welcome back to this week's Whip Spits and Chat. Come on, let's go and see what I got for you today. So let's get on with the videos that went out this week. All of the links to these videos, of course, will be up here, and anything else that I think about talking about during today's live, if there is a link attached, it will be up here. Right, so the very first video that went out was this cheeky book by Tom Daley. So it's a book review, and now it's called Made with Love. And it has over 30 knitting and crochet patterns for you to choose from. I quite like the book, but to be honest, I'd rather have him as my son. But if you'd like to have a look, of course, the video is in the I button. The next one up was Pants Our Live. No, it wasn't. I hate this. They don't have everything in order anymore. Ugh. The next video up was a cheeky little short, and that short was acrylic yarn price drop sale, UK Sainsbury's stores, and that is these are yarns here. Oop. Now, I hadn't spotted them in my store before. I had heard about it before, and I thought, nah, they're fibbing, because I could never find it. And now I feel like I'm telling you fibs because nobody else seems to be able to find them either. The next thing we had up was the birthday live. I got in such a muddle with this one. Turns out I'm saying it's a third birthday. It wasn't, it's the channel's second. And the confusion carried on, because not only did I get the wrong number on the video itself, I forgot to put channel birthday in the title, so when people popped in, they wished me a happy birthday rather than the channel. So sorry about the confusion there. And then to make it even worse, I had to use my old software and not the new one that I've been using, so it meant I didn't have the banners that ran along the bottom and the ability for you guys to drop your link. I am so sorry about that. Hopefully I'll have it fixed for the next live. I think I need to get my daughter down to show me how to do it again. Yeah, it wasn't my daughter that helped me set it up last time, it was Ursula, bless her. So if I can't get my daughter to fix it, I'll be knocking on your door, Ursula. Love you. Yeah, but it was a really lovely evening, and I am so chuffed. So many of you came in. I was so flabbergasted. I'm used to having around 10 to 15 people in, and probably, if I'm lucky, around 30 thumbs, which I don't normally bang on about the thumbs during a live. I might say it once or twice. If someone's written it in comments, that's what reminds me to ask you, basically. So thank you to everybody that came in, and thank you to everybody that gave a thumbs up. I'm still in shock, just the same as I'm in shock that I've got new members, like new membership members. I've always been scared of doing the membership program because I feel a bit awkward with it. I will get used to it. I hope. I've just got to make sure that I've got the content I promised to give them. So I'm working on it. If you are an Asylum member, can you please check your emails? I've sent you an email to the account that you use on your YouTube page. Okay, so I've sent you that so that you could, if you could get back to me, that would be really beautiful, because of course you've got a choice of a free pattern. And for the other guys and girls that have also subscribed on the other levels, if I've promised you things like shout outs and stuff, your information was put into the drop down box, whether it be before that live or after the live if you joined during. Okay, so anybody that's a channel member, check that out, make sure your name is in there, because they're the names that YouTube told me had signed up. Okay, if they're wrong and they've hidden you, I need you to tell me. All right. And the last video that went up this week was, of course, a Throwback Friday. That was number 71. For new channel crazies that have just come in, the Throwback Fridays are a brilliant way for you to see a week in the life of Poppy from last year or the year before, depending what video you decide to watch. And I will state either on screen or in the description box or what week it was, okay, so you know the date. That way you can watch through the video. I've cut out all the boring stuff. If it's a book review, I'm just showing you the front of the book briefly, and of course all the links to each of those videos is in the I button on the Whips, Bits and Chat, so it means that you can bounce over and have a watch of anything that interests you. If you're a long-standing suffering person that's been on this channel forever, you don't have to watch them. Hey Mrs. B. You're like, oh, I remember this one. I love it, but I love our little conversations anyway. Yeah, so thank you everybody and that has watched that one as well. So now it's time for story time. Oh, what a day I had on a Monday. It was funny, although should have been stressful. I found it quite funny. So backstory: my daughter is in sixth form over here in the UK. She's in her last year and she's now getting to the point where she's only got 2 more courses to complete. Everything else, the work is done, the exams are done, so she doesn't have to attend any lessons there, which means now her days at school are becoming a lot shorter, to the point we've had 3 days this week where she's only been in for an hour or maybe 2 at a push. Well, Monday was one of these days where it was an hour. So I thought, right, well, do you know what? I'm not worried. I am going to basically drop her off at school as I normally do. That kid should get a bus, but no, she gets a lift in. It's actually cheaper in fuel than the bus fare. So dropped her in at school and I thought I'll go and have a nose around a couple of the shops, and that's when I found the yarn that I've showed a couple of times and on a short that was in Sainsbury's. So I'd popped in there to grab something to drink, and then I went back to the car park at the school and started crocheting some poppies, because I thought, well, I've only got to be here for like an hour and a half because she likes to be in early. So an hour and a half I was sitting in the car making poppies, and every now and then I get out the car, stretch my legs. People would look at me strangely if they drove past because I was doing lunges or attempted lunges hanging on the car. Well, anyway, I'm doing these poppies waiting for her to come back, and the radio kept cutting out, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. So the radio keeps cutting out, as I have to keeps turning the car on and off again, but not on so far as turning the engine over, just on so that it gives it a bit of power and the music goes back on. Thought nothing of it. I thought, okay, maybe, because of course Lemon is pretty much the same age as my daughter, so it's nearly like 17 years old, and it's the original radio, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's time to replace the radio, as I've only got one speaker working in there. Doesn't matter, I don't care. This car will be going, if it's still alive by the time my daughter takes her exam, it's going to her anyway, so it's a standing joke. It's going to be given to her so that she can back it into lampposts like I did with my first car. But anyway, going back to what happened on Monday, my daughter comes in, she sits in, the radio had cut out again, so I thought, forget it, she'll be here soon, I'm not too worried. Oh, when she sits in the car and I go to turn over the engine, nothing at all happens, not even a there was nothing, it just went so I'm like, okay, pants. So her daughter's on the phone to hubby, Dad, Mum needs a jump lead, she's broken the car. And I'm like, darling, I need you to help out here. I've just filled it up with fuel. He's like, oh, you did it to the top, didn't you? And I'm like, yes, that's a jinx in this house. If I stupidly fill my car to the top 9 out of 10 times, we need to get a tow truck. Not because I've used the wrong fuel, it's just on 3 of my cars now, that's when the car breaks down and it doesn't work. So I was sitting in the school car park, and my daughter goes, I know, I'll go into the office. And I'm like, yep, go for it, girl. I sent her into the office because she was stressing. So she'd gone to the office. She asked if there was like the groundsman there had any jump leads and if he could help us out. She comes speeding back, and my husband's like, I've got delivery due in 10, I can't leave. I said, okay, no worries, because like daughter's gone off to ask about jump leads. He's going, if you stall that car on the way home, you're stuck. And I said, I know, don't panic, I will be fine. I'll use the motorway. He's gone, no, go the back way home, don't use the motorway just in case you do break down, because I can't get you from there. So I'm like, right, okay. So at that, this car pulls up. I said, actually babe, don't panic, jump leads are here. So we jump the car and it's working well, and the chap says to me, just don't have your lights on, love, and turn your radio off. I said, yeah, I know the drill. I said, this has happened to me a couple of times, I really should have a set in the back. And we're laughing and joking about it, and we head home. So we're going the back way home, and there's a railway bridge sort of on the way to way home. And that's pretty much the only quick route I knew, which was this railway bridge. It's the quickest out of all of them and doesn't take me miles out. And the police have closed the bridge. And so, of course, I've got to do a detour. And I'm like, okay, the only other detour I know adds an extra 3 miles on. Kid, get on Google. So she's on Google. Right, I found another route. You've got to trust my sat-nav navigations, Mum. I'm pants with sat-nav. One day I went to go to Bristol and ended up in Birmingham. Opposite directions. Okay, but yeah, I'm really bad with sat-navs. My sat-nav used to scream at me. I turned it into, had an Australian voice on it because that sounded nicer when he used to say to me, turn round, and I think it used to have a sarcastic comment that went with it, which made me laugh. So my excuse was, I want to annoy my sat-nav. But of course, we're using Google this time. So my daughter's there and she's like, right, there's a T-junction coming up. I'm like, yes, she remembers what the names are. I'm like, lovely. When? She went, you've just gone past it. I said, okay, so the T-junction was to the left. She went, yeah. I said, okay, I've gone past that T-junction. She went, right, okay, next turning on your left or on your right or whatever. Oh, it took us out a way that I'd not been before, but now I know it. I now know it's why everybody goes up this road when there's traffic off the main road. It's because you can loop round and get to her school. I'm in shock. I've only been taking my kids to that school for 7 years and I've never done that road. Well, we end up getting home, and it was literally the reason why the car went, no, not playing. It's because this stupid woman sat in her car for an hour and a half listening to the radio with her lights on. Go on, laugh. I know you are. I was. So as I'm driving along, I'm like, I have got no lights on. At this point, though, it was safe to drive with no lights. There was no fog. It was just fog on the way in. But yeah, oh, what a day. Right, so I went shopping in Dunelm earlier on in the week. Our gorgeous Linda Simpson had showed a glass jar that I really like the look of, and I was planning to use it for a display in my background. So I went there knowing that it was going to cost me about 15 quid for the size that I wanted, because she'd seen one that she'd bought. She paid a bit more for it, and then when she went to Dunelm she saw the same one and it was a lot cheaper. And so she said, go there, go there. So I went there, and basically, sorry, I'm mid-dying. So basically what I did was I started walking up and down the aisles and trying to find a straight glass vase that had quite a nice size of base, because what I want to do is I want to layer my poppies that I'm making into them, because this year I haven't got any of the blue boxes because they've brought in new blue boxes for this coming year, so I've got to wait till next year before I can get some freebie blue boxes, because of course once they normally hold the paper poppy, you see, and once the poppies have been sold from it, the boxes get collapsed and 9 out of 10 times they're thrown. But my local guy says to me, here you go Ange, here's a job load of them for you to fill up with your poppies, because he knows I like to keep everything regimented. There's 60 that fits in a box, so I can keep my count really lovely. And if you've watched Whips Bits in chat recently, you'll have seen in the background these blue boxes stacking up, and that's what they were. So of course this year there are no blue boxes, so I've got to think of another way of doing things. So I have got a normal box, and in that normal box they'll all be put in as neatly as they can be, and then he'll just have to put them out on the different tables, and I'll work out a way of doing that. But going back to my display, I've just got to take something out first. This is the glass vase I found. Look at the sparkles on the bottom of that. How cute is that? And do you know how much this cost? £8.99, gang. £8.99. It was on special. If you wanted it in pink, it was actually £6.99, but I was like, no, I don't want pink, solely because I think the glass had a pink tinge to it, and of course that wouldn't work very well with the poppies. But you know what does work very well with the poppies? A Captain Tom. Now of course I showed him off I think last week, but this is Captain Tom. He is the Palace Guard. The pattern was not mine, the pattern came out of a magazine, but if I pop him in there, how cute does he look? I will make sure he's sitting nice and straight once he goes on the shelf. There we go. So yeah, this is my Captain Tom. Oh, there we go. And he is going to be sitting just here. And each time I make 50 poppies and they're packaged, bagged, completely completed, I'm going to place a layer in here. I've just got to work out how many layers I can get in. Don't panic. Captain Tom's not getting buried in poppies. He will be standing guard over the top of them and standing on top of them. So as the poppies go up, so will Captain Tom. Okay, and yeah, so what I'm thinking is I will put however many I need into there to create the first layer of laid base. The rest of them of course will go into a box under the table that will be going off to Mister, and I'm only going to declare the 50 each month. Okay, so it's going to be a round up at the beginning of each month as to how many I have managed to package and bag. At the moment I'm not doing too badly. I've already declared 70 that are part made that need their backs on, and I have actually got round to doing those, but I've now got to print out the labels and I'm out of ink. So I've got to go buy some ink before I can print out some labels, before I can put them in the tub, which I really was hoping to show you this week. But I'm recording this on this little section on Wednesday, so hopefully by Friday the inks will have arrived and I'll have been able to print and I'll have been able to bag. If I do, that bit's coming up next. If not, you're just going to have to wait till next week. I'm sorry, I know I wasn't going to bang on about poppies all the time. Right, if you are new to the channel though, right, this year I'm adding to my overall count and bringing up my overall count to 3,000 made and donated. I would absolutely love it if you popped to the shop or raided your stash and found yourself some red, green and black yarn and made some poppies as well. If you do make some poppies using the video that is on the channel, so make sure you send me photos, okay, and tell me the details, like what yarn you used, what hook you used, and whereabouts are you donating them to. In the UK it's really lovely and easy. You just got to wait until the end of October, run into a chain store, a food shop or anywhere else that has the Royal British Legion tables. I'll give you a nudge closer to the time and tell you when those tables are out, and then you'll be able to run in, pop them on the table, grin, giggle and run out again. If that's what you want to do. Or of course you could ask the people on the table if they would be okay with you taking a photograph of your poppies on their display table or of course getting a photograph with the team and sending that to me with the details of roughly where you were. That would be perfect. Absolutely a gorgeous thing to do. If you are in Portugal, there is a place that I know of that you may be able to drop them off to. I've just got to check with them first, because I tell you what, hubby's best mate, if he sees loads of you girls turning up to his establishment and dropping off poppies without me asking him if it's okay first, I don't think I'll be welcome for at least a year, or at least until he's got rid of the poppies that you've donated. So I need to check with Bobbykins first to make sure it's okay. I keep forgetting to do that. Right, so I've spoken to Bobbykins and he said yes, that is fine. He's still got connections with the Royal British Legion in Obidos. So if you want to drop them off, pop over to
Portal de Villa.
Portal de Villa. Oh, I've said it wrong again. That's why I made him say it at the beginning. I'll get him to say it again.
Portal de Villa.
Okay, I will also write that on screen for you now. And the details, of course, have been placed in the description box of the poppy tutorial. If you are, of course, in any other country where there is an expat, a UK expat community, especially a military community, hit them up. You should be able to find details of them, of course, on Facebook or other social medias. If you're in America, we have one crazy that has told me where she is taking hers. I've just got to remember and get that information for you. Right, so now I'm being a little cheeky and I'm going to read what she said. Now, our cheeky crazy that makes them is I bring it every day. Thank you ever so much for the extra information, darling. She says that she makes poppies too, and good luck with my membership. No, I'm worried about that for now. Right. So I asked her where she sends them to, as I've had fellow Americans finding it hard to donate them, and she'd said that the American Legion leads the charge with the poppy pins on Memorial Day in the US. Her library takes donations for them as well as the VA hospitals. Yes, she usually makes a few herself, and she will be doing so this year. Haha, you said it now. We're waiting on your photo, girl. I am so evil, but I love you, and it's all for charity, mate. So I'll be adding that information, of course, to the description box of the original video, not the original, but the updated poppy tutorial. So make sure you have a look in there before you start making them, to ensure that you've got somewhere to donate them to. If you haven't found out any information yet, give me a nudge, and I will see if we can find somewhere close in your area that you can donate them to. But please remember, because I'm if I'm outside of your country, I may find it a little bit difficult. So of course I need my crazies to shout, donate here, donate here. Thanks, gang. I got my printer ink, I got my printer ink. So I had to start sewing the backs on poppies and bagging them. And I have managed to bag 100. So that is 100. The count is now sitting at 100 poppies. Only 300 more to go. That's right, I'm not doing the 1,000 this year. I'm only doing 400, because then that'll bring my overall total up to 3,000. And Captain Tom, how cute does he look? Let me bring him a little bit closer for you. I really should have sorted this area out after the live yesterday. There we go. How cute. With the layer of poppies. Now that hasn't got the full 100 in there. That's only got, I think there was about 30 there. And it turns out that poor Captain Tom can only have 4 layers of poppies. So your next update will be when I get to 200 poppies. And that layer will then be added in. So how cute does that look though? And yes, I could have probably done with, there you go, boy, and with a bigger, taller pot, but I like the sparkles. So he may end up being put on a plinth. I've just got to work out how to make it, what to use. I'm tempted to actually use some smaller boxes that I will put the 100s in behind and layer them underneath, and then have something in front that makes it look pretty. Don't quite know yet. I'm working on it. Right, a Liam update. He's back to his normal obnoxious self. Right, Liam. See how obnoxious he was here 30 seconds ago. But yeah, he's back to his normal self now, thankfully. Here he is. Come here. He did make a quick appearance yesterday on Thursday's live. You coming up? Are you coming up? You're not. Fine. See, told you, cantankerous self. You are a toad. I love you, my cheeky toad. There he is. Hello, peeps. Hello, everybody. Right, he's gone again. He has frog marched me out into the kitchen to get himself a treat, so we know he's definitely okay. And as soon as I handed it to him, looked at him, smiled and said, "Mine." He pegged it. That seems to be his code word for run away. Right, I think that's about it for me for today, everybody. Thank you for watching. I will see you all again next week. So please remember to stay chilled, stay happy and keep crafting. Goodbye, everybody.